This week, ABC News has been airing a series of startling reports on the country's deeply troubled foster care system. Tonight, we bring you evidence caught on tape of what can happen when the system fails to help a child. And we also have a rare inside look at a social worker making the most heart-wrenching decision of all. ABC's Diane Sawyer brings our series, A Call to Action, Saving Our Children.
Tell him that I got his message. I just need the phone number for the foster parents.
This is Tanghe with Child Protective Services.
Tanghe, one of the nation's nearly 200,000 family social workers.
I have 14 minutes to get somewhere else.
At 33, she makes life and death decisions every day.
I have a list of recommendations to the court. All right, I'll be back.
Here, an anxious visit to a family. The kids have been missing school. Are they all right?
I'm a little stressed because there's kids in there.
Worried, she moves around to the back of the house, then to the front. 45 minutes in the freezing cold. Then the father of one of the children appears.
Hi. This is not a joke. I mean, she's got some court orders.
Sky has 19 open cases, and believe it or not, she's lucky. The average number for a social worker in America is 30, and in some states, workers have an impossible 80 families at a time. No wonder there's a shortage. A quarter of these workers quit every year.
You must spend your life in this car.
We do a lot of office work and court work, and we have to see our parents at least one time a month, and the children one time per month.
What keeps you from wanting to take someone and just shake them and say, what is the matter with you?
I'm very honest, I'm very direct. Successes are what keeps me going, day in and day out, because I believe in people.
Sky worked alongside Howard and his kids to create a family again. And there's Rhonda, who turned her life around after 10 years of drug addiction and got her kids back too.
You're sweet.
Thank you, Sky. I love you.
I love you, honey. I'm proud of you.
But as night falls, Sky faces what she dreads the most. She's going back to the home where she knocked and knocked a month earlier. Social workers have monitored this family for years, and now Sky has to enforce a court order to take the children away to foster care.
This is absolutely the worst part of my job. There's something about taking a child from their mother that it just kind of sits with me.
It's okay to be sad, honey. Let me have your hand.
Despite warnings, the kids are not being sent to school and are left dangerously unsupervised. But in the back seat of this car, they're just tiny, frightened casualties on the battlefield. 8 o'clock at night, Sky hands them over to a stranger, a foster care mother. The kids are frightened, but safe.
I believe that children have the right to an education, to medical needs, mental health needs. And if that can't happen in the home with their natural parents, then they need to be removed.
But as of tonight, there are only 175,000 foster families in America for 500,000 needy kids. Many states pay as little as $15 a day per child, and many of those homes are unequipped to deal with the fragile children they received from homes filled with risk. 1,500 children will die each year of abuse and neglect, the overwhelming majority at the hands of biological parents. One of the nation's leading prosecutors says the blame should be placed on all of us.
It takes a village to raise a child, but it takes a village to protect a child.
Consider what happened in Los Angeles, where everyone failed this little girl. Doctors, lawyers, her family, government workers. Everyone except the foster parents who brought her so close to happiness.
It was love at first sight, I think, for both of us.
Diane Hardy-Garcia and Corey Plank took in little Sarah, longing to adopt her. She had a sparkling bedroom, toys, books, and a pet schnauzer who slept protectively outside her door. This was her mother, Sophia, who was a Vicodin addict.
And the pills just took me down, destroyed my life. And I regret it so much. I regret it.
Sophia acknowledges that she resisted having Sarah live with the two women, in part because they're gay. Later, this court would decide to return Sarah to her aunt, a home where once before a social worker reported that Sarah had black eyes and a cut. Sarah's court-appointed lawyer had never even spoken to the two loving foster parents.
You could tell that Sarah had been exposed to explosive violence. The first thing that alarmed us was that she knew how to choke with both hands, and she had terrible nightmares.
The day Sarah was taken away was agony.
As we had to start packing up, she started putting her things back in the drawers and saying no. And it was the most helpless, terrible feeling. We had no confidence that she was going to a safe place. She looked right at Diane and said, "Bye-bye, Nani." It was like she knew.
5 months later, after this aunt, Frances Abundis, received Sarah. She says she saw her husband with Sarah, whose arm seemed twisted, limp.
¿Qué le pasó a la niña? You know, what happened to Sarah? He told me she must have fallen.
That is little Sarah on hospital surveillance video cameras with her aunt. The nurses said she was quiet, beyond tears. But the aunt left with Sarah before Sarah could be given diagnostic tests, and though it was against the medical advice of the doctors, no one stopped her from leaving. 7 hours later, Sarah was dead. Sarah had been hit so badly, so savagely, that it had actually severed her intestine.
Yeah.
And that it could only happen from something, somebody hitting her, kicking her, abusing her.
Yeah.
Do you really think it would have been worse to be with the foster parents, the two women, than this?
No, she probably would have been, this probably wouldn't have happened. She would be alive.
Armando and Frances Abundis are in jail. They have pled not guilty to murder and child abuse.
Sometimes people think, oh, I don't want to get involved. It's not my place, or I don't know what's really going on. But you'd be amazed by taking one step how that could really change it positively the life of a child. It could save a child's life.
Our thanks to Diane Sawyer. And we should add that a bill is pending in the California legislature that would give foster parents, like the gay couple caring temporarily for Sarah, a role in the court procedure to determine the placement of children.